Welcome to the Carnival Party, pal. Your friendly neighborhood Master Chaos here. I hope you're well. I'm very excited to bring you the Killer Clowns Watch Along live commentary track. I hope you'll join me. Don't worry, I promise. You probably can't hear me very well. Honestly, can't hear myself very well. I won't have this on the whole time.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hello, motherfucker.
Woo! That's more like it. How are you? How are you? How are you? Today we're talking Killer Clowns. I'm going to provide a live running commentary for the whole movie. And you just have to provide the movie on your end. So let me check in with everybody and see what is going on. TC, what's up? Hey, you're new here. Welcome to the party, pal. Nice to chat with you. And this isn't the TC, everybody. This isn't Tracker Chaos, by the way. It just happens to be another person named TC. 100, what's up? I can't watch along right now, but I'll leave the video playing to help you get those views. Not a problem. Appreciate it. No more Nightmare on Elm Street. Here's what happened with Nightmare on Elm Street. I guess I'll announce it now. Because I was planning to watch them in order. Here's what happened with the Nightmare on Elm Street. I got a guest for Nightmare 3. They were going to be on this week, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. You have to wait for October, so make sure you're subscribed and thumbs up, all that good stuff. You have to wait till October. In October, every week I'll do a new watch-along for a different movie, different franchise, and I'm going to have a guest every October. An actor from the movie will be joining me. I already have the first 2 weeks lined up. First week, no, I'll announce it to Patreon first. Patrons get a sneak peek first at what's coming down the line, and then I'll tell you guys about it. But Nightmare 3 is coming in the second week of October. So for everybody who's following along in order, just hold your horses. Speaking of patrons, I do want to say hello and thank you to the lovely patrons who support me and honestly keep the lights on. We're so close to monetization here on the new channel, by the way. We're a little less than 100 people from 1,000 subscribers, and we are about maybe 400 hours of watch time away from the goal. So we could technically be monetized by the time that we premiere the fifth installment. Oh my God, it's the fifth installment of Voice of the Bottom of the Barrel, episode 5, hosted by BC here on the channel. We're watching Begotten Bad Magic. Well, I should say we weren't watching it. We're watching it on our own. It's on Tubi. Bad Magic is. Begotten's on YouTube. Then we're going to come together and review it the 14th, September 14th, Wednesday. I hope you'll join us for that. While you're at it, make sure you check out the grossest review I've ever released. Jesus Christ. These two movies from Doris Wishman have... Oh, man, scarred me for life, but you'll have to watch those reviews to find out why. Okie dokie. It's a steady watch, just a new name. Okay. Well, glad to have you here. Used to be Timothy. Oh, okay, I remember you. Okay, well, welcome back. Alright, Fed says, hey man, chiming in to say hi. So that's what you look like without the glasses. Yep, that's why I keep the glasses on. Paul, I want to thank you for being a patron, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you joining, man. That really means a lot to me. Adam, I'm doing okay. How are you? Okay, you guys came here for Killer Clowns. So let's not F around. Let me see if I can find it here on my Finder. Here it is. Okay. So I've got the movie queued up on my end. What we're gonna do is I've got it ready, and then you have your copy ready. I mean, essentially, I assume you have your copy ready, either on your DVD or your Arrow Blu-ray or whatever. You guys watch at home. I watch here, and I will provide a running commentary to the whole movie. I actually end up talking so friggin' much, it's kind of insane. I'm gonna tire myself out, but to hydrate, I do got this. Ooh, from Spirit Halloween. I like how Killer Clowns has become a Halloween icon. I love this movie so much. And I like to Stay hydrated. Okie dokie, artichoke. Let me get my notes up here. Got a lot of notes. We're going to be listening. Not listening. You'll be listening to me, but we'll be hearing from Edward Kyoto, an interview from him, an interview with Grant Cramer, and then 22 Things We Learned from the Killer Clowns commentary track, which I'm sort of cheating on, but it's from an article from Film School Rejects, so a little bit of everything. So first, let's do an audio test. Let me know if you can hear the movie playing, okay? I'm going to play the movie, and you tell me if you can hear it. Because you shouldn't be able to. It's playing right now. Alright, so it's the balloon dog. Alright, Paul says no, he doesn't hear it. Okay, great. That's good to hear. Can't hear it, and that's a no. Alrighty. Alright, I'm gonna start it at the beginning here. I'm not starting it yet, don't worry. Let's see. John, he received, oh, my movie, Corpses Are Forever. Nice. I hope you, you don't have to put the year. I don't even remember the damn year. There is only one Corpses Are Forever, so that year is unnecessary, but, hey, Casey's here. Oddly enough, I also just got my copy. Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad. We're gonna start, the version I have starts at the MGM logo. So does everyone's version have the MGM logo? Because that's what I do. By the way, Timothy, since we have a TC on the channel, I'm wondering if you changed it to TC for a reason. Because I know TC created an account. Maybe I'll just have him do Tracker Chaos. Yeah, that's fine. Don't Deliver Us from Evil is getting a Blu-ray release. Yeah, I discussed it about a month ago. Not excited for it. Okay, Razor's got an MGM logo. Okay. Most copies should come with an MGM logo. Oh, Timothy Charles. Keep it. Don't change it. Okay, dokie. Artichoke, here we go. On the count of 3, I'll say, don't do it now. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, play, and then we all hit play, okay? Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3, play! Alright. We should all be fairly synced up with the madness on screen. Okie dokie, here we go. This is a classic film. I love this movie so much. The way I discovered it, gosh, I don't honestly remember the first time, but it must have been on HBO or Showtime or something, and the name alone caught my attention. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Kind of all my favorite things in one movie. I thought, before this, I think the, was this before It? I don't remember if this was before It or not, but, I remember, I'm going to look that up right now, actually, because that's kind of interesting to me. Clowns are always sort of inherently creepy, and so if you were to, let's see, it's actually before It, so it predates, what most people would consider the de facto killer clown movie, or miniseries, I guess you could say. But maybe, it probably didn't. It probably helped Stephen King, but I think it's so long. I think he was writing it, before, obviously, maybe even during this movie's release in 1988. That's when Killer Clowns exploded across the world. Directed by Stephen Kyoto, written by Charles Kyoto, Stephen Kyoto, and Edward Kyoto, starring Grant Cramer, the lovely Susan Snyder, John Allen Nelson, John Vernon, who is amazing. I love that guy. The one, the only Royal Dano, we'll talk about him, and Christopher Titus, which I completely didn't even connect to this movie at all. The comedian Christopher Titus, insane to me, but it is what it is. I love this small town. It was filmed in, and I want to double check this before I give you the wrong facts. I want to say Santa Cruz, California. I want to get this correct for you guys. Filmed in, I know I saw it here somewhere. Yeah, filmed. I know they filmed by the Santa Cruz border. Yeah, Santa Cruz, California. A beautiful little town. I spent a summer there once. I really enjoy that little town. Here we're meeting all our characters. This is Makeout Point. I love all these old characters. By the way, Edward Kyoto was apparently uncredited writer on that. That's why he's not listed. Let's see. In terms of where you are and where you're synced, I can't chime in with everybody right now because I have a whole thing about the movie. So if you have problems with sync, hopefully the chat will tell you. I'll do it one line. We just see the Terenzi brothers ice cream truck in the darkness. The big old ice cream face is coming into Makeout Point. And that's also where I'm going to leave it in terms of where we are in the movie so that I can continue with the commentary here. Santa Cruz is great. Lived there a couple years. Way too expensive, though. Yeah, that's what I hear, Razor. Lost Boys also filmed there. Yep. Okie dokie. Let us do it. I love the Terenzi brothers. We'll talk about them later. But I wanted to start off with this brief review from the LA Times. This is from Leonard Clady. Now, he got it. He definitely got the movie. A lot of people did not. Leonard Maltin hated it. He thought it was stupid as hell. But in later years, he came around and accepted that it was actually a pretty brilliant movie. Leonard writes, "It's only natural to expect the worst from a film titled Killer Clowns from Outer Space. But this offbeat black comedy homage to 50s monster movies demonstrates both above-average technical skill and large dollops of imagination." Something that's in short supply these days. That was my addition, by the way. Okay, back to Leonard. The title pretty well indicates the film's attitude and storyline. The activity at small-town Lover's Lane stops momentarily when a flash of light streaks across the sky and disappears into a neighboring farmer's field. Mike and Debbie break away to investigate and are surprised to find a circus tent in the middle of nowhere. Inside, rather than 3 rings, they discover what seems to be the inner workings of a spaceship with a popcorn maker and rows of cotton candy that cocoon the aliens' victims. The villains, angry clowns, are bent on capturing the couple before the horrible secret is divulged to the unsuspecting townspeople. The dozen or so clowns are a wonder to behold behind their garish clothing, painted faces, and latex expressions. The juxtaposition of their toy store arsenal and malevolent intent proves to be a tasty combination, and the alien tricks concocted for the film often rival the best of the Cirque du Soleil. Killer Clowns is the brainchild of the Kyoto brothers, 3 young men whose inspiration appears to derive from the keen affection for the likes of King Kong, Godzilla, Sinbad, and their ilk. While budget constraints occasionally show, they're more than offset by the rush of creativity fiendishly and cleverly at work. Well said there from the LA Times. I'm very happy that they liked it. You know, you never know what you're going to get with some of these critics who don't get these things. Here's the amazing Royal Dano. Now, we're not going to be with him for long, so let's talk about him and his career real quick. My favorite Royal Dano movie is going to shock a lot of people because it's not one that people talk about a lot, and it is the film Spaced Invaders. I love that movie so much, and it's one that he shot right after Killer Clowns, technically right after. Killer Clowns was 1988, Spaced Invaders was 1990. I love that movie. He's also Uncle Ned in Ghoulies 2, which they filmed right before. At least it was released right before Killer Clowns. Let's start all the way back, because he has a huge career, and I want to make sure I give him his due. And we'll talk about Claire and Grant in a moment. He starts off uncredited in 1943 as a convict in the film The Chance of a Lifetime. It's followed up by a ton of TV stuff: Colgate Theater, Lux Video Theater. He's in Red Badge of Courage, again unnamed. Red Badge of Courage is great, from 1951. He's in a TV series called Suspense. He's in the Motorola television hour. Wow, Motorola existed in 1954? That's crazy. I thought that was like a newer brand. New to me. He plays Abraham Lincoln in a TV series titled The Omnibus in 6 episodes of that. Abraham Lincoln. He'd be a good Abraham Lincoln. He's Elijah in 1956's Moby Dick. Again, stuff like Playhouse 90, Schlitz Playhouse. Tons of stuff. Climax, the TV series. He's in 3 episodes of that. Tons of stuff. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Have Gun Will Travel. He's only 1 episode, but he's in that. Rifleman. This is a guy who's been around. He's also well known as the zombie cowboy in House 2. Amazing. He's so good in that. And he's wearing makeup. I mean, that's commitment, man. You know, at his older age to sit through all that stuff. Amazing stuff. He has a steady career, all the way through the 70s and the 80s. I think the 80s is really when he came into fruition for us, at least my generation. Stuff like Something Wicked This Way Comes, The Right Stuff, House 2, Ghoulies 2. He was in some pretty good sequels, actually, which is kind of crazy. His last film was in 1993, and it was, some would call it a classic. I think it's a good film. I haven't been watched in a while, but you know what? It's due for a 4K. I'm sure that's going to happen now that we're talking about it. That's the movie The Dark Half. He passed away at the age of 71, May 15th, 1994. Royal Dano, rest in peace. You will be remembered for not only your unforgettable farmer role here, looking for your poor little dog. And he kind of gives off a Jimmy Stewart vibe too, which I love too. He totally gives off a Jimmy Stewart feel to the proceedings, which I quite enjoy that. Unmistakably unique actor, a character actor, unlike any other. I love him. I wish him well. That's the amazing Royal Dano getting the shock of a lifetime there. Let's talk we talked real briefly about the release. 1988. The film is an hour and 28 minutes long. Critical reception was not great, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Let's go to. I think we should start it at the beginning. Well, we've got Mooney here. Should we talk about Mooney? Now I'm going to save Mooney till he gets turned into a puppet. Spoilers. I'm assuming you've seen this movie, but Brian Trash, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Okie dokie. Here we go. This is an interview by Patrick Cavanaugh with Edward Kyoto from comicbook.com. They ask, what was the initial lightning bolt of inspiration for the movie? Edward Kyoto has this to say. Let me take a sip of coffee because it's a long one. I love these 80s punks with the hair and the chains. Amazing. I love it. Okay. This is Edward Kyoto chiming in. Well, it's funny because actually the notion of making a movie together really started very, very early in our lives. It was something we always wanted to do. We were fascinated by movies, specifically monster movies, and to be even more specific, King Kong. I guess that's the touchstone for a lot of effects people, genre people's careers, that they fell in love with the movies because of that movie and the magic of it. Charlie and Steve, they're both a little older than I, but again, when we were growing up, that's what we did as a form of play, was making movies. And our parents were incredibly supportive in terms of getting us cameras, films, sending it off for processing, and giving us raw supplies. It was all basically emulating the movies that we loved growing up. King Kong, Mighty Joe Young, and a personal favorite, Jason and the Argonauts. 7 Voyages of Sinbad, all the Ray Harryhausen movies. We were just captured by the magic of stop-motion animation specifically, and being able to tell stories. That's what we did all our lives, with the notion that this was what we wanted to do somehow together. The Kyoto Brothers Productions. Really, it was early on in our old home movies that there is actually a logo for Kyoto Brothers Productions. When we moved to Hollywood, Charlie and Steve came earlier than I did, and then I joined them. They moved out in 1980. I joined them in 1984. We just kept learning our tools of the trade and learning the special effects business, always with an eye on wanting to make movies but not really knowing what that meant coming from the East Coast. One night, just sitting around, the question was posed, what's the scariest thing you could think of? It started with Steven, then running with that idea. He said that if he was on a dark and winding mountain road at night and a clown pulled up alongside of him, he thought that was one of the creepiest images he could think of. And then Charlie, I think, chimed in, hey, that is weird. That's really weird. Hey, but what if the clown wasn't in a car? What if he was just floating outside the car going along with you? We said, well, that would mean the clown had come from outer space. And what would they be doing here? Clowns from outer space? Of course, they're here to kill us. And so right from that, killer clowns from outer space. From there, we just thought, all right, let's just play around with this idea. Then it kind of wrote itself in terms of once we locked in what it was. I think Steven, he writes, he's obviously, it's an interview that's a little stream of consciousness, so I'm reading it as it's said, so it might sound a little weird, but that's why it's sort of a little off. Steven, okay, so back to Edward. He says, I think Steven, ... We're big fans of the movie The Blob. We like the basic storyline. Something mysterious comes to town. Teenagers see it, try to alert the authorities, and nobody believes them, and then they're on the front line against this alien invasion. We came up with that basic through line, and then just started seeing all the possibilities, clown possibilities, circus possibilities out there, and really taking advantage of how commonplace and welcome clowns and circus motifs are in our society. People don't blink an eye. You see a clown at a party, at a McDonald's or a restaurant or something, you have no hesitation about pushing your child to this strange thing, wearing makeup. You wouldn't do that to any other stranger, but with a clown, you do that. That became part of the dynamics we're working on when it came out, making the movie. So since we have our couple here, let's talk about our couple, not with our couple, our couple in general. We'll start with Mr. Grant Cramer here, who is now a producer, and you'll be shocked to hear what he just recently produced, and we'll get to that. But let's begin at the begin, as they say. His first film was New Year's Evil, 1980. I remember that being okay. It's been a while since I've seen it. He's also in the movie Hard Bodies, which I don't recall. I know I've seen it, but I don't recall it very well. 1988, 8 years into his acting career, he was Mike Tobacco here in Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And yeah, that is his last name, Tobacco. I don't get it, but it is what it is. After that, he does a little bit of everything, nothing massive in terms of his career exploding. He is in Auntie Lee's Meat Pies, which I'm not a big fan of, in 1992. That's on Vinegar Syndrome. He's in Young and the Restless for a long run, 47 episodes. I don't know it. I don't watch soap operas, but he's in it to win it. Look at this. Let's take a minute to just admire this. I mean, this is a matte painting, but it looks great. And it really gives you a sense of scale for the ship. And and I love when they blow a wind on an actor's face, because it's real. It feels like there's a movement there. It doesn't feel like a set. Most sets are very airless. So even the simple thing of having a fan, blow air at an actor and seeing that little life gives the environment realism, especially when you're dealing with something like this, which, they're probably just up against a flat wall. But the fact that it's a big space, I love that. Those little touches really jump out to me. As a filmmaker, I think realism is important as much as possible. So I love those little moments when they pop up. He's in Night of the Living Dead, the 30th anniversary edition. He plays a new character. That's sort of a stupid thing that I forget who did it, but it wasn't a good idea. They basically added footage to Night of the Living Dead, and he's in it. He's in Addicted to Murder 3, which, if I remember correctly, was an SOV movie. I might be thinking, it's an SOV movie. Kevin Lindenmuth was a really nice guy, by the way. He put out my first movie. He's in that. That's interesting. Then a couple of smaller little roles. He's in something called The Margarine Wars in 2012. The Still Life in 2006. He's the gnome guy. I have no idea. But then most recently, he is. I'm gonna go down to producing credits, which is really where he's exploded, I guess is the best way to put it. He's really, he's still acting, but he's certainly more of a producer now than anything else. He has produced, and I'm going to save the best for last, okay? Are you ready for this? He's produced The November Man. This is sort of the forgotten movie. I kind of dug it, starring Pierce Brosnan. I thought it was a good movie, actually. He produced Some Kind of Beautiful, 2014. He produced Arctic Dogs, which, is sort of it's an animated movie, but I don't blame you for not hearing it. The War with Grandpa, that was a recent Netflix film. And Willy's Wonderland. That's right. Willy's Wonderland starring Nicolas Cage. He produced that. He's also in it. He plays a character in the film, a small part from what I remember, but he's in it. And the last thing on his IMDb, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? No date set. It's just been announced. The return of the Killer Clowns from Outer Space in 3D. He will reprise his role. So yeah, he survives. I love this set. And by the way, as the moment I'm recording this, right now it's Thursday, September 8th. Tomorrow, I'm going to go to Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm going to be able to walk through these sets because they have a Killer Clowns maze. I love it. Hopefully, I'll be able to go live and take you guys with me. So fingers crossed you can join me for that because I love that maze, and they're bringing it back. It's one of their best mazes. They absolutely captured that damn movie. Uh-oh. Don't worry, it's just popcorn. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Love the design on the clowns. Amazing stuff. Anyway, yeah. Killer Clowns through, I was going to say 3 because of the 3D, but I guess technically, yeah. Killer Clowns 2, 3D is coming, and he is listed as returning. So it's in development. Right now there's no details. Grant is the only actor attached. Fingers crossed we will see more. Let's talk about Susan, who's our lovely final girl here. She was in a film recently. We'll talk about it when we get to it. That was released by Severin last Black Friday, I believe. I think it was a Black Friday title. The lovely Susan Snyder here, born October 22, 1962 in Illinois. She's done a ton of stuff. She only has one producer credit for a TV series titled Next from 1994. I'm not familiar with it. Her career starts in 1983 with the one, the only Chips television series. One day, one episode, one and done kind of thing. She was a guest of the week kind of a thing. She's in an episode of T.J. Hooker, the classic T.J. Hooker. Another just one episode of that. She's uncredited as a cheerleader in The Last Starfighter in 1984. She plays Deb in Weird Science. Of course, Weird Science is probably one we should do. We should do that. Those watching live, if you guys would like a watch along for Weird Science, let me know. I'll add that to the list of stuff. I love that movie. Crescent Cove, be careful. Here they come. I love this music cue. Oh, love that music cue. Fucking gets you hyped. And it's it's just, oh, it's so good. I love the music in this. I just want to listen to that for a minute. Oh, I love it. I love that. Oh, it's so great. Crescent Cove, be careful. There's no clowning around tonight. She's in 2 episodes, a 2-parter on Family Ties. She's a small part. She's a nurse in Remo Williams. I love that movie, Remo Williams. Maybe that's one I'll do, but not that many people know that one. Night of the Creeps, the classic Night of the Creeps. I love that friggin' movie. Of course, I'm gonna do something for Night of the Creeps. I gotta do something for Night of the Creeps, man. Because how could I not? I love Night of the Creeps. So watch along for that coming soon. Stay tuned. Oh, you know what we could do? That might be kind of neat. Do a Monster Squad, because I could get Andre Gower. Oh, that'd be awesome. Okay, keep that under my hat. So pretend you didn't hear that. Okay, moving on. In 1987, she does the movie Retribution. It's a Canadian film, not one of my favorites. Severin put that one out on a Black Friday thing, so it's available if you're interested in checking that one out through Severin. I want to say, Dark Force had a Blu-ray at one point. I don't remember. Not Dark Force. Code Red, something like that. Anyway, she's in an episode of Head of the Class. The year after... where'd it go? For some reason, Killer Clowns keeps disappearing on me. Okay, so the year after Retribution, she gets Return of the Living Dead 2. I love that movie. I love her in it. I think she's so funny in it as like the weird, annoying girlfriend. Great. She's really good. That's actually the first time I noticed her in a movie. So good. That same year, lucky for her, big year for her, she was in Killer Clowns, playing Debbie Stone here as our final girl. And I think it's sort of in the middle what people remember her for, but I think Killer Clowns is probably her biggest, most well-known role, at least as far as I'm concerned. She's still acting, but I think she's retired. I think she has retired. The last credit she has is in the film Dancing on a Dry Salt Lake from 2010. Oh, she's also in 2 episodes of Seinfeld, playing 2 different girls. What? Did they forget that she was cast already? That's weird. No, she plays an Audrey and an Eva. That's, boy, that's interesting. That is very, very interesting. She's, currently married and the mother of 3 kids. I love you. I love... I guess I do love her. I think she's great. I was going to say I love it. Sorry, I was reading something and it kind of threw me off. Amazing. Susan Snyder is a great final girl. I'm sure I know she's done some video interviews in the past, so maybe she's not completely retired, but in terms of roles, she finished it up in 2010. So that's a good point, John. Maybe she was twins in Seinfeld. I don't know. That's a good point. Maybe not. Timothy, yeah, the cotton candy cocoons. What a great element. I love it. So freaking good. And Paul says, yes, Night of the Creeps. Awesome. It's on the list. Absolutely going to happen. All right, so that was Susan Snyder. You know, I'm going to save Mooney. I'm going to save Mooney for the really good stuff. However, we do have our second male lead, which is, kind of weird because in these kind of movies you don't normally have a second male lead. But we should talk about Dave Hansen, who does obviously factor massively into the movie. That's a question I would ask the Kyoto brothers, and I've talked to them in the past, but I forget to bring it up. Why are there 2 male leads in this movie? It's very interesting. Let's talk about John Allen Nelson, who plays Dave. He's had a pretty extensive career as well. Born August 28, 1959 in San Antonio, Texas. I wonder how hot it's there now, because it's burning in LA here. Actually, it's kind of cloudy today, which is odd, but anyway. In 1983, he kicks off his career with the TV series Loving. He plays a character called Duke Rochelle. Looks like it was a 1-episode appearance. Love that little puppet. Look at this fucking guy. Oh, fuck. I think I fucked up my time, guys. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Sorry, I'm going to go back to this guy. Okay, sorry. Puppet show guy. I'm at the puppet show. Sorry about that. So I might be a little off, but that's okay, because I'm really just reading facts. So I apologize. The guy is loving that puppet show too much. I agree. It's a little crazy. Mohammed, I am a big Quantum Leap fan, but I won't be answering any questions that don't have to do with Killer Clowns, just because it's a commentary for the movie. It'd be weird for me to talk about Quantum Leap, but I love Quantum Leap. Very good. Okay, so we're okay. He just turned into cotton candy. Okay, we're timed up pretty good. Okie dokie. Well, at least for me, and there's a dancing gorilla on my screen at the moment. But there is a delay, so just so you know, which is kind of odd too. There is a delay on my end. When you guys hear this, it's gonna be, I think, 10 seconds later or something. Let's just continue talking about John. Next, he was in a TV series, Edge of Night, and 26 episodes of that, 1984. I don't remember that one. He was in, it looks like I'm guessing a soap opera called Santa Barbara. Get this. Wow. 181 episodes. Damn. Damn. That's a lot. 181 episodes. So he definitely cut his teeth there from 1984 to 1986. In 87, I think it was his first film called Hunk. I don't know it. I'm not familiar with it. His next movie, after a couple of TV show appearances, was Killer Clowns as Dave Hansen. That same year, he's Deathstalker, baby! In Deathstalker and the Warriors from Hell, which... I'm going to do some research on that. It's the third one. Okay, I wanted to double check that because I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the third one. It's the third Deathstalker movie. Don't worry if you haven't seen it. You ain't missing nothing. He is in an episode of Quantum Leap. Funny enough, speaking of Quantum Leap, he's in Genesis Part 1. Which, is that the first episode? No, the first episode is just called Pilot. So, but anyway, yeah, he's in an episode of Quantum Leap. Wow, that lined up really nice. Couple episodes of Matlock. He was in an episode of Friends in 1994. He plays a character named Paul. The title is the one where Monica gets a roommate. Yeah. All right. Baywatch. He was in 14 episodes of Baywatch. The classic Baywatch. Looks like it was a recurring character. Early Edition. I love that show. He was in an episode of that. He was in some movie called Marry Me or Die from 1998. There was a Sheena TV series? I don't remember that. Or maybe I do. Sheena? Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Okay, so he was in a Sheena TV series. 35 episodes of that. The whole run of that. He was in 24, which I don't recall. But then it was a later season. It was season 5. I don't recall him in that, honestly. But that's cool. I like that show. After season 2, it kind of becomes a mess. Although I really like season 4, and then the rest was kind of a blur to me. Saving Grace, Burn Notice, Without a Trace, Knight Rider, the 2008 version. It's an episode of Grey's Anatomy. Lots of TV. I think his next big movie is Feast 3, The Happy Finish. He plays a character called Shit Kicker, which... I'm going to be real with you. I'm not a fan of the Feast sequels. The first one is a masterpiece. But part 2 and 3 are just abhorrent. I really can't stand them. I think they go too far, honestly. They just, to a point where, like, this is just ridiculous shit, in my opinion. I actually don't even know if it has its fans, but I'm sure it does. I'm not sure if he's retired or not, but... his last credit is in 2017 with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, the TV series, which, by the way, a little inside knowledge, is Mistress Chaos's favorite show, or one of her favorite shows. I love Shorty. Shorty's my favorite clown. He's so cute. Oh, look at that little silly guy playing with the shaving cream. I love Shorty. He's amazing. Love it. I love all these characters. Gosh. And how this so great. Here's the thing. If they made this movie nowadays... totally CGI clowns. Totally. They would not be practical. And that's what makes this movie so great. Is that it feels real, baby. Feels real. The video store says, this is what I need. The mood is a little somber in the UK tonight. I've heard, as of the recording of this video, September 8th, the Queen Mom has died. Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth. That's, yeah, I can imagine. I mean, she's lasted a heck of a long time, and she is she'll rest well. And I don't know how that works. We're going off topic here, but I don't know if now does her son take the throne? I don't know how that all works, but yeah, it's a sad day for the world. She was a nice lady. Okay, so Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was his last credit. John Allen Nelson, he's not dead. Maybe it's just, you know what? It's hard out there for a pimp. So it might be just one of those things where he hasn't been hired for anything else. But I'll keep that in mind. I'm going to keep that in mind when I do something, because I think he's cool. John Allen Nelson. My favorite scene is coming up. Look at this guy. Looks like Meatloaf. Poor little Shorty's bike. They fuck with his bike. Put up your dukes, man. Put up your dukes. Oh, it's so, like, I like how he tries to be nice with these guys, with the punk guys. And you feel bad for him. And then when this guy dies, you're like, yeah, fuck that guy. The guy was an asshole. I want him to die. I don't want him to survive. I want him to leave my little guys alone, you know? I love that. I don't know if we've missed Christopher Titus. I've never recognized him in this movie, which is weird. But I just never recognized him in this movie. He plays Bob McReed. I don't know if we've seen him yet, honestly. Put up your dukes. Fucking awesome. I love this guy. Let's see. Okay, let's go back to the interview with Edward Kyoto. The question is, this is from comicbook.com. The question is, you mentioned your affinity for films like the original Blob or King Kong, which came decades before your film, and Killer Clowns was hitting theaters at a time when slashers like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street were dominating the horror world. Was there any apprehension that your film would be too weird for audiences? We were aware of the genres. In our effects career, we always shied away from the slasher, the gore movies. We didn't really like the human-on-human violence. We take our monster movies very seriously, and we approached that in Killer Clowns. As well as these being creatures from another world that happen to look like clowns. They were here to kill us, but the motif would always be in a circus, playful, carnival-type characters. Like here, the little girl being enticed out of the Big Top Burger. So creepy, this scene. So creepy. We shy away from people killing people. A monster can do anything to you because monsters aren't real. We can have fun with that idea, so I guess our bottom line was we were making a movie that we would like to go and see. And the fact that people over 35 years now have found the movie and loved the movie is really a special feeling. That's something that we did for really our own enjoyment, because we don't know how to make movies to try to please a certain audience. We just do what we think is cool. That people like it is really heartwarming. You never know what's gonna hit with some people, and I think that's the scary thing about making a movie. You think you have a cool idea, a cool concept, and it falls on its ass. 10 people watch it, and that is it. Let's stand in silence. Asks, "Where's BC?" Not here. He's not very technically savvy, so he can't join me for these. All right, back to Killer Clowns. Comic book asks a question about the initial release and how passionate people were able to find it. Edward responds, "The original release, it was a different time, a different era. It was really meant to populate the video shelf world. It got a minor theatrical release to fulfill a mandate and a bigger home video contract. It never ever got any sort of promotion or big push into the theater. It wasn't until it hit HBO, that's right, I guess where I saw it, and specifically the USA Network, that audiences started to really discover it. The original studio we made it for went out of business, and it was unavailable for the longest time after its initial run. But it still was out there on some scarce videotapes. And then the USA Network. It wasn't really until MGM picked it up and released it as part of their Midnight Madness series that we really fully understood how popular it actually was." Let me take a drink. Lots of talking. I have that Midnight Madness release DVD. It's awesome. I watched that so many times. Love it. There were always calls for the convention circuit within the genre and things like that for appearances and being able to show the movie and talk about it. But it wasn't until MGM picked it up and got a hold of it in the mid-90s that we really got our first inkling that it had staying power and that people had a real love for it. It was kind of that second generation, too. That kids that had seen it on HBO or USA now had grown up, and now they had kids and were showing it to their kids, like me. That's it. More of a safe family horror movie that they can introduce their kids to the genre that they love. And I think that speaks to the movie and why it's had legs. You can show this to a kid. There's killing, but it's kind of like, it's kind of like strange, jokey, cartoonish killing. It's not exactly a Jason or Freddy, violent murders kind of a thing. It's cotton candy, invisible dogs, the shadow puppets. It's more fun, and I think that's really what made the movie pop. And I think is what makes it still grow. It makes it such a fun film, because similar to things like Goosebumps, where it's family friendly. I love that, and I think that speaks to the longevity of the movie. Stan and Sound says, I almost don't recognize MC without that insane glasses crown thing on his face. I don't know what you're talking about. Where you been? These are my streaming glasses because they're prescription. I can't read in the other ones. I'm almost always in these now. You gotta watch more often, pal. You have disappeared. Walt says, when are they gonna get that sequel off the ground? It's coming. They just announced it. So stay tuned for that. Since we're talking with Mooney here, let's talk about John Vernon, the great John Vernon, the character actor extraordinaire, who is no longer with us. Born February 24th, 1932 in Canada. Passed away February 1st, 2005 at the age of 72. So he died 23 days short of his birthday. That's interesting. Man, he lasted a little longer. He could have gotten one more year under the belt. He's amazing. He's a great character actor. You know him from everything. Wow, his last credit is kind of crazy. We'll talk about his last credit, but we'll start at the beginning. How I like to do. Wow, his IMDb is massive. Okay. His career starts in 1956 with the film 1984. And it's a classic film. Criterion put it out, so go check that out. He's in a TV series called Hawkeye and the Last of the Mohicans. And he plays... Wow, that's weird. He plays different characters in most of the episodes. That's very interesting. I guess they forgot he was in it. He plays like 3 different characters in that show from 1957. Maybe they didn't care. I don't know. Tons of TV follows. TV, into the 60s. He's in a movie called Nobody Waved Goodbye in 1964. Is that... I'm trying to think. Is this the one... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's funny. A partner label from Vinegar Syndrome just put that out. Nobody Waved Goodbye. So that's out now on Blu-ray. That just came out. Well, it's nice how we get those weird little coincidences popping up. He was in what? This is fucking weird. What? Oh, it's a TV show. Is it an anime? It's got to be animated, because this would have been a bigger deal. He's in the Captain America TV series from 1966. Was there a Captain America from 1966? I don't know that. I don't know that. Oh man, we're not gonna get any boobies. Sorry guys. Yep, animated. I'm not familiar with that show, but he was in it, and he played them all. Tony Stark, Iron Man, obviously, and Namor. Look at that. That's cool. That's pretty neat. And he went on to the Hulk TV series in 1966. Again, Tony Stark, Iron Man, and Namor. He was in the There's a Submariner TV series. Wow, I did not know about this. 1966, again, reprising those roles. He's in the Mighty Thor TV series. I guess these are all concurrent. Yeah, these must be all concurrent, because they're all 1966. I'm not familiar with the Marvel cartoon shows, but he's in them. He is in them. He's in the film Topaz, which is the distinction of being the only Alfred Hitchcock movie I have yet to see. It's pretty damn long, too. But he's in it. So he worked with Hitchcock, and he worked with the Kyoto brothers. Pretty sweet. Of course, he's in Dirty Harry. He's the mayor. Let's see, Mannix, Mission Impossible TV series. He's in 6 episodes, but only in one of them does he play a recurring character. Actually, 3. It's a 3-parter. He has a recurring character in 3 episodes. Charlie Varick, amazing movie, highly recommend it. He's in that. He plays Maynard, really good, really good kind of heist movie. Walter Matthau, Kicking Ass, Kung Fu TV series, General Cantrell. I don't remember. I know I've seen the entire series, but I don't remember that character. Stuff just bleeds together, honestly, guys. It's just kind of how it is. Steady work. This guy was never not working, according to his IMDb. Some years were super thick. You know, of course, he's Dean Vernon Wormer in Animal House. I think that's his big breakout role. Most people are like, oh, I know him from that. I know him from this. I'm not a big Animal House fan, personally. But I know it has its fans. Cody, I agree. Killer Clowns 4K would be good. I think that movie would, this movie I should say, should benefit. Okay, Herbie Goes Bananas. He's in that one from 1980. Everyone's favorite Herbie film. Of course, how could you forget? Airplane 2. He's in the sequel. He's in Curtains, which is a really interesting slasher movie. He plays the acting coach, if I'm not mistaken. Really weird slasher movie, but I liked it. Chained Heat, obviously, great. He's the warden in that. I mean, he should be the warden in every movie. He just has that look. Just that creepy fucking look. MacGyver, Airwolf, Knight Rider. He's done them all. Sledgehammer. Scarecrow and Mrs. King. Wow, that's interesting. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I'm sure every actor in the world at that time has done it. My favorite appearance from him beyond this movie. Oh, look at the shadow puppet scene is great. So clever. So clever. I love it. Ernest Goes to Camp is my favorite John Vernon performance. He's the asshole land developer guy. So good. He's so good in that. Oh, man. I love that movie so much. Ernest Goes to Camp is probably the movie that made me laugh the hardest of any of the Ernest movies. The turtle scene kills me. Jesus Christ. So good. Anyway. He's in Blue Monkey, which is a movie I really like. It's about a giant mosquito monster running loose in a hospital. I really like that movie. That was 1987. The year after, of course, he would appear as Curtis Mooney, the sheriff, in Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And we'll see what happens to him a little later. Very creepy. And in the Horror Nights maze, they recreate it pretty well. Pretty well. They actually, I think they do the shadow puppet thing pretty awesome, too. He's in the War of the Worlds TV series, which I vaguely remember. He's Mr. Big, and I'm gonna get you, sucker. This guy's done so much, and we're still in the 80s, 88 at this point. So many things. He's in episode of Tales from the Crypt, episode of fucking Doogie Howser. He's in, let's see, Acapulco Heat, everyone's favorite. He did a lot of voice work, which makes sense. He's got a really good character voice. He was in the Incredible Hulk TV series from 1996, but as General Ross, new character. Tons of video games, which makes sense. Tons of video game work. He was in Sorority Boys as playing just character of old man. I remember that being okay. But I don't know if I haven't seen it in a long time. But I remember that being okay. His last appearance on screen, I think, was a movie called Welcome to America. Which is this one? I might get him. I think I'm mistaken. I'm thinking of something else. Michael Madsen, Tom Sizemore has no poster, so I don't know what happened to that movie or if it's even available. But that was his first movie. After that, he is voices. Does a ton of voices throughout. He's in the Area 51 video game in 2005. He plays a warden on The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, which is kind of amazing. So he is a recurring character there. He shows up 3 times. His last credit was in the, let's just say, the forgotten Delgo, very forgotten Delgo. I don't even think I've seen this shit. Starring Freddie Prinze Jr. and Val Kilmer and Bancroft. Good cast, but I don't think anyone has seen it. If you've seen it in the chat, let me know. Delgo? I don't know. Anyway, that was the lovely John Vernon. Here we have the Terenzi brothers. We'll talk about them in a moment. So I see you like Arby's. Way up, dude. I'm not sure if you're new here, but there's a connection to Arby's. I won't get into it now. But, yeah. Ragnar says, as good as Clowns was, it blows my mind there's never been a sequel. I know. I agree. There should have been a sequel. I agree, Ragnar. And sequel is incoming. It's just been announced. But who knows how long we have to wait. Alright. The Terenzi brothers, since they're on screen, maybe... You know what? I'll save for their hero moment. We'll talk about them in a minute. Let's talk about Grant Cramer. We have a big interview here from Grant Cramer, and he talks about the movie. He talks about his career in general. Hey, we're being joined by Crispin Glover. Hey, Crispin Glover, how are you? Alrighty. Interview with Grant Cramer. This is from MediaMikes.com. It's an interview with Mike Gencarelli from April 21st, 2010. Mike asks, what did you think when you got the role of Killer Clowns? Or in Killer Clowns? Grant responds, I always thought it had potential to be neat, cool, and a wacky movie. I do not think anyone had any idea that it would be... sorry, there's some typos in here, so I have to read around them. That it would go on to creep up and become this cult weird sensation that it became. The movie is 10 times more popular now than when we made it 20-something years ago. Well, I mean, that's all. Yeah, of course, that's going to happen. I think any movie's more popular now than when it was initially released. Maybe not Avatar. Well, we'll see what happens with Avatar 2. Mike asks, can you believe the film has lasted this long and become a cult classic? Grant says, what's weird is that as more time goes by, the more popular it gets. More people have seemed to come up to me and say, dude, Killer Clowns is my favorite movie while reciting the lines. This happens more to me now than it did when the film came out. As a matter of fact, some people liked it, but most people consider it to be just a silly movie. Now, people fanatically love that movie. Absolutely. We're about to see Mooney get his just desserts here. I like how straight he plays it. You know, like he is playing a, asshole cop guy. And he's faced with a dude in a clown costume. I love it. It's so good. Mike asks how it was working with the Kyoto brothers. Grant replies, it was great. Those guys are still really good buddies of mine. Then Mike asks, are there any talks for a sequel? And this is what Grant responds. As a matter of fact, we have been working very hard the last few years on the sequel for Killer Clowns. We're hoping to make it pretty soon. It took a long time to get the rights. Then it took a long time to come up with the story we were all happy with. Everything takes a freaking long time. Then it took a little while to get the script done, budget ready, and artwork done. We now feel like we have all of our ducks in a row. Now is the most important thing. We have to get money to make the movie. We are supposed to start our first meetings basically right away. Our one partner who's in charge of the meetings is in the process of doing that right now. Knock on wood. Some executives will bite on it. We'll see. It has a massive fan base, but it is a weird industry. We have to find someone that not only has the money, but actually gets what it is. Media Mikes should do a little typo check on his interviews here. There's a couple things missing here. I'm filling in the blanks. We are confident about it. You search Killer Clowns on Google, you come up with 100,000 hits. When it was released, well, yeah, but there are also other things you get with Killer Clowns. But yeah, when it was released on DVD, it sold like 700,000 units in the first few weeks without any publicity. We are armed with some decent numbers, and we have a decent script. All the original filmmakers are attached to it, though I am the only original cast member. We have a brand new story, and we really want to keep it in the spirit of the original movie. We don't want it to become the CGI sequel of Killer Clowns. Keep it with the costumes, keep it with the old school effects. It needs to be homage with the 1950s aliens from outer space, blob-esque monster movies. I'm so glad he said that. I'm so glad that that's the goal. Now, just so everyone is aware, this is from 2010. Obviously, the sequel did not materialize as far as we know. But there is there is talks, and maybe we'll address a sequel conversation. Now, this is from Wikipedia. This is the latest update in terms of what's happening with the planned sequel. The Kyoto brothers plan to release a requel. Stephen Kyoto was to direct the movie, and his brother Charles would be a production designer. Grant Cramer would return as Mike Tobacco. According to Cramer, Tobacco would now be a town drunk whose ramblings about the clowns are dismissed. When the clowns come back, Tobacco, who has been preparing for their return, teams up with two young street performers to fight them. Street performers? Like breakdancers? Oh, that's weird. Cramer also said that there might be multiple sequels, each centered on a character from the original movie. That's interesting. It was reported later that the release date had been delayed, but according to the Facebook page for the film, it was officially in post-production. That's weird. A page on the website for the original movie promised that the follow-up film would be released in 2013. That didn't happen, obviously. In 2016, Stephen Kyoto stated that the efforts to make Killer Clowns production had shifted from planning one or more theatrical releases to focus on television. He explained the concept of a trilogy in 4 parts, with the original film being the first, adding, "We've got it all written out." However, he also ambiguously referred to the same plan as a long arc series for cable and a long-ranging series. If we do get a series, I'd love to explore the Clown Planet. I think that'd be amazing. I'd love to see that. But I would imagine that's expensive. On October 22, 2018, it was announced that the Sci-Fi Channel was in talks to license the rights to make one or more sequels to Killer Clowns, as well as additional movies in the Critters franchise. That's where it stands. Now, Killer Clowns Return, whatever the hell they said it was called, for Killer Clowns 3D, whatever it is. That one is officially on IMDb, but again, no date is set. So, what can we infer from that? I don't know. Because it's hard to tell, really, what's going to happen, right? When you're dealing with movies and stuff like that. If it's been in development for 22 years now, I mean, not 22 years, 12 years. Well, probably been in development since they finished this. 12 years since they announced in 2010. Honestly, may never happen. But I love the puppet scene here. Oh, man, I love the puppet scene. So creepy. Walt says, Grant Cramer was in the 80s classic Hard Bodies. Yep. That's right. We mentioned that one. Now, Killer Clowns, of course, has sort of come back into the ether for 2 reasons. Halloween Horror Nights has brought it back up. It's a hot property now, thanks to Killer Clowns, which is amazing. But the big news, we're getting a Killer Clowns video game, which is amazing. The only problem I have with it is I don't like those online multiplayer games myself, so I won't necessarily be getting it unless there's a way to play with friends and maybe we could team up with people. That might be kind of fun, but I don't like online horror games. That's why I haven't played the Friday the 13th. That's why I haven't played the Dead by Daylight, which looks great. And here we find out how to kill the clowns. Shoot him in the goddamn nose. Shoot him in the nose. That's all you gotta do. We shoot him in the nose, and we win. We win. Something. This is kind of interesting. This kind of popped up on my radar. Let me share this with you. The Kyoto brothers also worked on the effects for Ernest Scared Stupid, including the finale where the troll army is destroyed by townsfolk throwing milk. To save a little money on creating new masks for these trolls, the siblings took 2 mask molds from the Killer Clowns from Outer Space and painted them to resemble trolls. It's easy to miss on first viewing, but the two clown masks are easy to spot for viewers familiar with Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Of course, this isn't a true crossover between Ernest Scared Stupid and Killer Clowns. It was simply a case of them trying to keep the production costs down. I love Ernest Scared Stupid, and I've never noticed that. But in the finale, I'm seeing a picture right now. Absolutely, it's a Killer Clown. Oh my god, that's great. So I owe that information to ScreenRant.com. Padraig Cutter from a January 12, 2022 article. Amazing. That's great. Okay, so we've got the Terenzi brothers here, the ice cream purveyors of the town. Love this truck. I love this. I call it the parade scene with the streamers and them coming down, collecting the town. Oh, amazing. So creepy. And again, the realism is what sells it. That's what makes it work. It's all practical. Love it. Let's talk about the Terenzi brothers since they're here, and I don't want to forget them. Played by Michael S. Siegel and Peter Licassi, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry if I am not. They don't have a giant credit block, but they do have a few things. First, let's talk with Michael S. Siegel. Not talk with him, but hear from him, or hear about his career, I should say. He is Rich. He plays Rich Terenzi. His career starts in 1984 in a TV movie called Cheeseball Presents. I'm not familiar with it. Then he's in another TV series called Comedy Club, 1987, with Licassi and Siegel. So it looks like it was a TV series episode or something, and looks like he's always teamed up with Peter as sort of a duo. Oh yeah, popcorn baby, popcorn clown monster babies, love it. Oh, so creative, man, so goddamn creative. Love it, love that movie. So great. I want to get one of those things. I know they sell them, but I don't know where the hell I would put it. Well, I guess I would put it right next to BC's Arby Cup here. Anyway, 1988, Killer Clowns was his first movie. He's in the movie Three Fugitives. He plays a small part, Cop 4. So it's not really massive anything. He's in an episode of 30-something. He's in a whole bunch of little shorts. He's in a movie called Portal. I don't know it from 2015. I'm not familiar with it. Another film called Where the Journey Ends. He's a video game voice in Horizon Zero Dawn from 2017. The first one, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, they mimic the voices. That's creepy, man. He's Joseph of Arimathea in a Jesus TV series from 2019. Beast Inside, he does a voice for that video game. He's in a TV movie called Charlotte Link. Die Sucht. I don't know, German? I don't know what that is. Anyway, he looks like he's really religious because he's got a couple of other religious things coming our way. He's in something called Brigantia, where he again reprises the role of Joseph of Arimathea. And that's in pre-production. So he's still in it to win it. Michael S. Siegel as Rich. Let's talk about Peter Licassi, who is Paul Terenzi. It's funny, he doesn't have that other credit that he shares with Michael. That's interesting. His whole thing is a little smaller. His IMDb here. He only has 3 credits. He's got the Cheeseball Presents in 1984. In 1988, Paul Terenzi. And then, looks like he joined, I believe it was John, who plays Dave, on Santa Barbara, the soap opera. I'm not familiar with it. 1989, he plays Guido DeFranco in 4 episodes. So I guess just a 4 little episode stint. They honestly probably shot that over in a week, honestly, the way soap operas work. So that's where his career ends, and he lived until recently. He's passed, unfortunately. Born April 1st, which is funny. He's a comedian, and he's born on April Fool's Day, 1959. Passed away at the age of 61, August 27th, 2020. I don't know if it was COVID related or not, but whenever I see 2020, 2021, death dates, I'm always curious if they have anything to do, if they correlate. But 61 is not old anymore, I'm 43 and I feel like I'm at the prime of life, basically. Anyway, Terenzi Brothers and JoJo's Ice Cream, a big part of this. JoJo's Ice Cream is gonna factor huge into Universal's Halloween Horror Nights event, because they will have a JoJo's Ice Cream, and I'll try and get some footage of that. If I get anything, I'll film it. It might be a Patreon exclusive little fun bit. I must have missed Christopher Titus in this. The comedian is in this movie, but I didn't even know he was in this until I looked it up on IMDb and go, he's in that movie? Yeah, apparently he's in that movie, which is shocking to me, but it's true. We're getting ready to slam into our finale here. I love this cup. Look at that cool cup. And it's like kind of like, you can't really tell in this lighting, but it's like bejeweled, not bejeweled, opalescent. I think that's the term. Anyway, since Christopher Titus is in the movie, let's talk about Christopher Titus. Love this. I love how this guy dies. I love everything. Everything about this movie is just exquisitely made. You can tell these guys fucking cared. Melting cream pies. Love it. Okay, let's talk about Christopher Titus. This actually is his first movie. Killer Clowns. He plays Bob McReed. I'm not familiar with. Maybe that's a character that came and went. I don't remember him. After that, he's in an episode of 21 Jump Street, Columbo. He's in Lois and Clark as a state trooper. I don't know when exactly he starts making his turn into sort of comedian, but he's in Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, which is a great, I love it, TV series. If you guys haven't seen it, it's so good. If there's a way to watch it here on YouTube, maybe I'll watch it with you guys. That'd be a fun thing to do. Love that show so much. Yeah, melt that guy. Sorry, security guard. Enjoy a sweet death. These clowns, man. Brilliant. I can imagine a sequel will be very expensive. I can imagine it will not be a cheap movie at all. Okie dokie. Beyond Belief, he's in that. In 2000, running through 2002, we get his TV series Titus, which, I'll be honest, I've never watched. There's just something about him that just doesn't work for me. So I have not indulged in checking out Christopher Titus's work. 54 episodes of that show. I'm guessing it's a 2-season thing. But that's sort of where he left his stamp as a comedian. And I imagine he did stand-up and things up until that point. He's in the relaunch of Twilight Zone. He did a couple of TV movies. He was in a TV series called Big Shots, running from 2007 2008. So it's like just a season. Don't know that one either. He's in an episode of Rizzoli and Isles. And he's sort of found new life doing action movies or something. He's in a movie called Special Unit. Or maybe not. Maybe it's a comedy. I take it back. Yeah, it's a comedy about a cop who teams up with handicapped police officers, like an autistic guy, dwarves, and yeah, it sounds amazing. Actually, I really want to watch that. That looks very funny. I saw the cover and it looked like an action movie, but no, it's not. It is. It's absolutely a comedy. So he's staying in his wheelhouse, but it looks super funny. Honestly, I don't know. I think that's pretty funny. Last credit was in 2018 for the TV show We're Not Friends. In terms of an actor, in terms of his, stand-up stuff, his last stand-up show was called Christopher Titus Amerigeddon. Good name. from 2019. It's funny that he did that in 2019 before the world literally, I mean, well, I guess there was a lot going on in 2019 already, but literally the next year is when the world really took a the America took a dump. But we won't get political here. Christopher Titus, keep doing it, man. I'm gonna watch that movie. Special Unit. That sounds fucking hilarious to me. I like that. I'm gonna check that movie out. I don't know if anyone else is, but it looks funny to me. I love this set. I love everything about this. The fog helps to hide, wires and things, but it's still in keeping with the world. Don't press that button. Don't press that button. Do not press that button. Whatever you do, don't press that button, dude. He's gonna press the button, is he? He's gonna press the button. Of course he's gonna press it. I don't know if those are acne scars, but it almost look like knife scars. That's not too bad. No, it wasn't too bad. I kind of wish, and it's hard to do with a maze, but I kind of wish they did the dry ice throughout the maze. That'd be kind of neat, but I know it's hard for them, to pull that off. Does anybody else collect the toys? I collect. I have the Pops. I know. Soda was gonna do some toys. Some of them are really expensive. I know a lot of that stuff really sold out. But I'm very excited for the asymmetrical multiplayer game. And if you love Killer Clowns, go to Spirit Halloween. Almost everything in Spirit Halloween is Killer Clowns now. It's kind of insane. I love it. Actually, this is where I got this. And by the way, this watch-along live commentary is not sponsored by anybody. I'm a fan of things, and so I mention it. Let's talk about the soundtrack real quick. The film score was composed by John Massari. He's a really nice dude, a really nice guy. And I spoke to him very briefly at a convention. Little Master wants to be a composer, and so we talked about that. We talked about all that stuff, and he was very nice and giving him advice and stuff. So I love that. He was great. Let's talk about his career real quick. Since we have him in front of us, he started out his career on Little House on the Prairie in 1982. Did a lot of TV. Looks like his first movie was one called The Wizard of Speed and Time, which, oh my god, if you look at the poster for this thing, it looks retarded, but I really want to watch it. His next movie was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Classic soundtrack, so great. Then, are you ready for this, VSA fans? I'm only saying that because this feels like it should be a VSA title, a Vinegar Syndrome VSA title. He did the Snake Eater movies 1, 2, and 3. And it's hard to tell which was the best one because they're all kind of shit. But but shit in a good way, I guess. Not in a Jalal Merhi way. Shit in a good way. He did Steel and Lace, which is a fun little movie. Again, that was Vinegar Syndrome release. I like that movie quite a bit. Retro Puppet Master in 1999. Not the best one. Ray Harryhausen, the Early Years Collection in 2005. I think The Cell 2, which is, I think we all agree The Cell 2 is better than the first one. I'm kidding. I don't think anyone's seen Cell 2 or remembers Cell 1. Last credit was Thrill Kill in 2015. I like his stuff. I'm a big fan of his stuff. So he did a great job with the soundtrack. It's very, very memorable. Look at this little fat guy. Gonna get a little cotton candy juice. Got a little cotton candy juice. Okay, the title song Killer Clowns was written and performed by the American punk rock band The Dickies and was released on their album Killer Clowns from Outer Space in '98. Frontman Leonard Phillips wrote the song without seeing the movie. A limited edition complete soundtrack was released in 2006 through Percepto Records and features 26 tracks of the score, the title song Killer Clowns, and 4 bonus tracks at a running time just over 69 minutes. it's crazy how, because you have to. I'm scoring my movie right now, Headless Horseman. So it's crazy to think about how much music time is needed for a movie, and how much music has to be created for a movie. Like, you look at a movie, like, well, okay, it's got what, maybe 3 or 4 songs, but no, it could potentially have an hour's worth of music, and that takes a lot of work. So it's just interesting to notice things like that, because I'm currently dealing with that kind of stuff. Let's see. We should go back to Edward. Kyoto, and it's pronounced Kyoto, not Chiodo. According to them. Let's go back to the Edward interview from comicbook.com. The interviewer asks, given the movie's massive popularity now and the passionate fans that it's earned, would you trade its unconventional success with the film earning more success initially, even if it meant the same passion wouldn't have sustained itself over the last few decades? Edward responds, it's just the way the cards were dealt, largely. But I do say this, I wish it had been marketed properly. I'm not sure it would have gotten the attention at the time because it was pretty out there for even back in 1988. But had it done better, we might have been afforded more opportunity sooner on some of our other projects. But quite honestly, if I don't do another project in my career, I'm quite content with having Edward Kyoto and Killer Clowns from Outer Space in parentheses behind my name. Earlier success might have given us more opportunities to do more cool things, but pretty much we've been able to do everything that we've come out to do. We moved here from New York, Long Island specifically, and we made a movie. We had a television show. We had development deals for features. We've done some great special effects projects over the years. 35 years later, we're doing a holiday special for Netflix with Jon Favreau as our executive producer. It's been a long time coming, but things happen for a reason, and they happen on their own timeline. I'm glad that it's found an audience, and it makes people happy. It's funny. It's such a silly title. You know what you're getting when you see it, but on more than one occasion, people have come up to us to say that they were going through a tough time in their life. One person in particular was having a really tough time with his father. They just fought. They did not get along. They really didn't like one another. But the one thing they had in common was their love for our movie, and they would be able to find common ground by watching the movie together to try to build their relationship. That's kind of amazing. Wow, I know that's my aside. Sorry. Back to Edward. That's pretty special. If that's the only person it touched, that's pretty good too. I love that. I think that's fantastic. Let's see here. Okay, so interviewer asks, making the film... Oh, let me make sure we're at the movie. There's a final escape here. Having some fun. Making the film's accomplishments all that more impressive is what it's earned on such a silly title. Bringing people together with bizarre premise makes everything more rewarding. Edward responds, it's a product of its time. We look back at it now as filmmakers, and there are things that still make me cringe to this day. Things that didn't go quite right. Things we wanted to do better, or things we didn't even get to do. But overall, I'm pretty proud of the movie. I managed to see it a couple times a year when we're at festivals or appearances. There's enough time that has passed where I can actually objectively watch it now, and it's pretty good. The fact that Universal Studios has recognized it, and now Florida, 2 years in a row, made it a part of their Halloween Horror Nights. And then this year in Hollywood, that was quite the tribute. They did stellar jobs on it, slightly different takes on it, which was interesting that they didn't do the same experience. But it was really, really good. They got it, and they showed a love for it. They weren't making fun of it. It was there in the parks because of the genuine love, and that's a really special. Absolutely, I think that love really transcends everything, and that's the power a movie can have. The interviewer asks about the current state of the series and what we're doing in terms of a sequel. So let's get to it. It's extremely complicated, especially in today's world. There have been ongoing talks with MGM. They are keen on doing something with it, not only because of the constant sales of the DVDs, Blu-rays, the merchandising, but the new It series. Look, I'm getting a call from Harry Manfredini, but I can't answer that right now. I'll talk to him in a minute. Anyway, sorry, back to Edward. Not only because of the constant sales of the DVDs, Blu-rays, merchandising, but the new It series that came out and validated the love and fear of clowns. MGM realized that they're sitting on a granddaddy of them all. But it's really finding the right place, the right tone. What does Killer Clowns look like in 2020? There's a certain innocence that happened in 1988, where clowns were more universally loved than they are today. We've been in conversations on really all fronts, from a television series, which is personally one of the more exciting versions, because it gives us an opportunity to fully realize our trilogy in 4 parts concept. How we follow new characters and some old characters over a really fun character arc that could be executed, we think, best in hour-long TV format. But it also could be adapted for a series of feature-length films that play out that scenario. Those are the types of ideas that we're working with. Just working with MGM on a way to make that happen. They're eager to make something happen. I can't say anything is active right now, especially in light of what's going on with the coronavirus. We're scheduled to have some further conversations with them after we get through our projects right now. There's always a willingness on it there. We're looking for new collaborators, perhaps that may bring us a new perspective on what it could be like in 2020. The one thing I think definitively put to rest is this idea that it was somehow caught up in the Fox Disney acquisition. As far as I know, I don't know officially, but I have on pretty good authority that the Clown franchise was not swept up in that. MGM controls the rights on it because we've been in contact with them. We have friends over there, and we have people that we've been working with, just bouncing ideas off of one another over the time. So I don't know where those rumors came from. It was odd, but as far as I know, it was not swept up in that deal. So again, it seems like it's going to be way hard for this sequel to come up, and maybe it's one of those things where the money isn't there, or maybe they have too many ideas and they can't decide on something. That could be too. They could just be frozen. That happens too. Like, well, how do we make a sequel of this? How do we make a sequel? How do we make this work? That's a big thing. That's killed a lot of sequels. So, who knows? Who knows? They ask, so could the film potentially get a reboot without you being involved? That's the interviewer, and Edward responds, and we'll leave it here with Edward. That's certainly part of the conversation. Again, not that we claim to know everything. We do have a pretty unique understanding of how the clowns operate and what that universe is. But again, we've always worked with other filmmakers, other creative people, so we would welcome the right opportunity to make that happen. I think there's a lot of fun to be had with the concept, like our trilogy in 4 parts. It's very fun. There's a certain dark comedy to even the original that we're playing with. We love the genre, we're having fun with the genre, we're making fun of it, but not because we want to make fun of it, but because we love it. We're embracing it, and the people are responding to that. Hopefully, we get the opportunity to play with our ideas. It would be really interesting, because seeing some of the fan art and how they've taken it a new vision, a new direction, maybe a little more visceral than we would have ever done it. There's a great opportunity to take it to a new level and still honor the original, and then make it something that resonates with today's audiences. And we'll end it there. Again, that was from comicbook.com, interview by Patrick Cavanaugh. As the movie wraps up here, let's take a minute to admire everything about it. Jaden, yeah, we talked about the video game. It's multiplayer, so that could be a fun family game. It's multiplayer online, which is tough. I do not like online games, because you can't really play with people. As far as I know, I've never really done it, but it seems like you'd just be playing with strangers. It does not seem very fun to me. The big top takes off. Will it ever land again, I guess, is the question. We don't know. We don't know. IMDb just threw up the Return of the Killer Clowns in 3D. Come on, Dave. Take them out. Use your badge. Red badge of courage. Well, I guess silver badge of courage. Pop his nose, bitch. I love it. And there he goes. That's a big ass. I love that the movie went hard in the finale and just go, we're just gonna do a King Kong clown. I love it. Fantastic stuff. Will we get a sequel? I don't know. I don't know. And that is a shame. I have a last little bit to read here. This is from filmschoolrejects.com, an article by Kevin Carr titled 22 Things We Learned from the Killer Clowns from Outer Space Commentary. So I'm going to read this as we blast into the credits. He made it. Everyone's alive. It's a happy ending. Who doesn't love a happy goddamn ending? Paul, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the commentary, man. Cody says, I want to see a killer clown spider wrap up its victims with cotton candy. Dude, absolutely. That'd be great. They should absolutely do that. They should absolutely do that. That would be amazing. I mean, I want to see the clown world. That's where I would go. I want to see where these guys come from, man. Let's take the fight to them. Oh, yeah. That's the end of it. That's the third one, right? Take the fight to them? Hell yeah. That would be an expensive-ass movie, though. Super expensive. Anyway, this is from the Killer Clowns commentary, and since I'm providing my commentary, this is from the Kyoto Brothers, I figured I'll just share what they have to say. Hey, I never got the glitter rain. Where's this coming from? Is it ash? Yeah, it's over. Of course it's over. What? Oh. Those look like Hershey and cream pies. Don't they look like Hershey pies or something? Fucking great ending. I mean, they should fucking melt. I mean, that should spell the death of them. Right? The clowns are like, fuck you guys. At the finale, they're like, fuck you dudes. Alright, as we wrap up, let's hear, I'm going to share stuff that I don't think I've shared yet. Pardon me. Originally, the film was to be titled simply Killer Clowns. However, the Kyoto Brothers feared it would sound too much like a basic slasher movie, so they added From Outer Space to acknowledge the humor in the film up front. The character of Bob McReed, who is the blonde guy with glasses who crosses the street in front of Officer Mooney at the top of the film, was played by young Chris Titus. Oh, wow, so it wasn't even a main character, it's just a dude. Okay, so, alright, interesting. Many of the characters in the film, including Mike Tobacco, the Terenzi brothers, Joe Lombardo, were real names of and based on real childhood buddies of the Kyoto brothers. Mike Tobacco was known for bringing girls to make out point with champagne in his glove compartment and a rubber raft in the back seat. The Terenzi brothers really did rent an ice cream truck with the hopes of getting girls. When farmer Gene Green, real Dano, goes into his house to get his tools to retrieve the meteor, the prop master can be seen clearly through the screen door, handing the prop to the actor. Wow. The Kyoto brothers originally did not want to reveal the clowns until later in the film. However, their executive producer insisted that they show them in the first reel. I think that's a good idea. For cost reasons, the interior of the spaceship Big Top was made with a modular Tinker Toy design. Various elements were built that could be put together differently to make a different room rather than design and build multiple sets at great expense. That's great. It's a good idea. The line, it looks like it was decorated by Clowns R Us, was voted as the worst line in the movie by a fan site. I kind of like that line. But anyway. The characters of Mike and Debbie were meant to be a role reversal of horror movie archetypes. Mike is the dumb blonde who doesn't realize bad things are happening, and Debbie is the smart one who catches on quickly. I like that. That's funny. When Mike pulls the cotton candy off the body to reveal the face of Farmer Gene Green, a noticeably smaller cotton candy cocoon is seen hanging behind him. That is the final fate of Pooh Bear the dog. Oh, that's right. The popcorn gun included a compressor inside that would fire real popcorn. It was the most expensive prop in the movie, costing $7,000 and taking 6 weeks to build. Holy shit. The special effects department had to coat the balloon dog's legs with latex because the balloon kept popping when they touched the pine needles on the forest floor. Oh, there you go. During production, the executives asked for more clown mayhem. This resulted in the door-to-door shots of the clowns zapping people. The production also shot more destruction of the drugstore back in Hollywood because the drugstore location used during principal photography in Santa Cruz would not allow them to make a mess. The Jeep that is covered in and filled with cotton candy webbing was loaned to the production by a local car dealership. The movie's over, but we'll continue. Because we're here, you're here, let's talk some more. They were told by the effects department that if they sprayed the Jeep with Pam, the webbing would permanently stick and wouldn't permanently stick and could be wiped right off. However, the solvent in the webbing caused major damage to the inside of the car, particularly to the seats and finish. This necessitated $3,000 in repairs at a different car dealership before the production could return the Jeep to its owner. Damn. The car chase, in which a clown is driving an invisible car, was meant to be shown before the opening credits. The character driving the car is Joe Lombardo, who Mike and Debbie find in a cotton candy cocoon several scenes earlier. It was John Vernon's idea to have the clown squirt him twice in the face with the flour for greater comic effect. Brett Leonard plays the clown that squirts the water in Mooney's face. Brett Leonard will go on to be the director of A Lawnmower Man and Virtuosity. Okay, awesome. Dominic, thank you. I'm glad to have your subscription. Welcome to the party, pal. Happy to have you here. Debbie's shower scene lasts for 20 minutes of screen time and potentially covers hours of time in the chronology of the film. It is possibly the longest shower scene in the history of cinema. Because most of the vehicles were rented for the film, the production was not allowed to crash any cars, even though there are several scenes featuring car crashes. Only Joe Lombardo's car, which drives off a bridge, is damaged. The Kyoto brothers originally planned to have Soupy Sales play the security guard who was dissolved by acid pies. The choice was made because Sales was well known for getting pies thrown in his face. However, the executive producer would not spring for a plane ticket to fly in Sales. He feared the audience at the time would not even know who Soupy Sales was, and I guess maybe that's true, but that would have been cool. Approximately 40 clowns were used in the climax in the spaceship Big Top. Clownzilla was originally meant to be shot with stop-motion animation, but for speed and budgetary reasons, Charles Kyoto played the character in a rubber suit. Lastly, the original ending sees Deputy Dave die in the Big Top explosion. After test screenings, executives wanted a more upbeat ending. While the Kyoto brothers initially resisted, ostensibly and ridiculously wanting a realistic ending, they ended up reshooting the ending in a parking lot in Van Nuys. Oddly enough, the Terenzi brothers always survived the explosion by hiding in the freezer of their ice cream truck. So they survived, but Dave was supposed to die? Wow, that's interesting. That's kind of insane that would happen. Anyway, that's a wrap. Baby Cap. Yeah, I'm gonna rest my voice, and I gotta go deal with my movie now. I'm still on post on that. Let's call it a day. Thank you for joining me on this watch along of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. A great film, a wonderful film. There's gonna be another watch along next week. I don't know what movie it's gonna be. It really depends on what's happening in October. And patrons, stay tuned, because I will tell you first what's coming in October. Big things are planned. As a matter of fact, we may actually even be monetized before October 1st. Hell yeah. Very excited about that. I really appreciate everybody hustling and giving me the watch hours and all that stuff. But I'm still low on the subscribers, even though 2,000 people have watched the farewell video. Whatever. It is what it is. Let's call it a day. Thank you guys for joining me. You guys rock. I wish you the best. Until we meet again, if someone knocks on your door, check first, because it may be a clown, and if it's a clown, don't open that door.
Yeah. Y'all